Ted Sarandos, thank you so much for joining us, co-CEO of Netflix and also Netflix's Chief Content Officer. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Your first interview since becoming co-CEO, but also on the occasion of releasing this comprehensive 2-year study of the diversity of Netflix's content. Tell us, what did you learn about where there are gaps in your diversity and where you want to do better?
Yeah. Good morning. First of all, good to see you, at least virtually. I think, look, we commissioned this study because we wanted to figure out how we were doing and our mission to make sure that the content on Netflix was representative of the communities that we serve. And we did it externally through a third party because we wanted to be held to a very rigorous standard. And this study through USC Annenberg measured us on 22 different inclusion metrics. And we wanted to be very public about it. I mean, transparent about the report because we think that accountability is best served through transparency. So that's why we put it out so publicly, and we plan to every couple of years to let you see how we're doing and improving. What we saw in the data is that we have massive improvement in things like putting women behind the camera, putting women of color in roles, in director roles, and creator roles. Which is incredibly helpful because that ripples through and it increases the employment of women and women of color through every discipline of TV and filmmaking, which is fantastic. We have a ton of work to do in other underrepresented communities, particularly Latinx, people with disabilities, and we're committed to doing that work.
And Ted, you also, as part of today's announcement, revealed that you are going to launch a fund for creative equity, a $100 million fund. Tell us how you're going to be deploying that over the next 5 years.
Yeah, so the fund is going to be used in a bunch of different ways. One will be supporting organizations that do incredible work in this arena already. Groups like the Ghetto Film School or Film Independence Project Involve. So by helping them financially to expand their reach and also creating a few bespoke programs inside of Netflix to help us meet filmmakers and storytellers that we don't normally see, help to cultivate their talent, bring them into kind of mentorship and apprenticeship programs, and really try to do things in a much larger scale than we can do them, than we've been doing them historically. So sometimes it's taking advantage of, I'm sorry, go ahead, Julia.
Oh, no, I was going to say, though, beyond just this fund, you have all these initiatives, but beyond the fund, just in terms of the day-to-day way that you run the company, the types of content you're going to want to invest in, how are the processes and selection of content and how you hire people going to change in coming years based on what you've learned today?
Well, look, the important part is that the folks who commission the content, who meet the creators, who greenlight projects, are not just inclusive, but are also empowered, so that when they make that they have the ability to come to Netflix, meet the storytellers who want to tell stories around the world, and greenlight their projects. So we brought on a vice president of inclusion strategy with Renee Myers, who's really been hugely helpful for us, which is to take an inclusive lens into all the decision making. In other words, when you sit down and look at a project that you love for Netflix, ask the question, whose voices are not heard in the story? Who's missing?
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.